What is up, everybody? Chat, how are we? And so today I figured I'd do a tier list. Seems like a lot of people have been asking for a new tier list, and it's been quite some time since I've done so. And the meta has definitely changed a lot, so I think it's time we've done another. So if you like to see these, make sure to give this video a like, make sure to subscribe to see the next one. And if your friends are curious, make sure to share this video to them as well. But getting right into this, we're gonna not waste any time, chat. First one, Plankton. He's been going down the tubes, honestly. He's been seeing a lack of results. He's been seeing the meta slowly move past him from where he was early on. There were some nerfs to him as well. There are characters that are just better than him. And I think the general player base is just doing a lot better at dealing with his cover at ledge with his projectiles. They're doing better to combo him. Advantage state is getting bigger and stronger as people do better at just using slime, not just for slime canceling, but also slime dashing now. And that's become something that he just seriously can't deal with as a character. So we're going to just be seeing Plankton here as the worst character in the game. And as crazy as it is to say, he genuinely is the worst character. But that's all I can say. Moving on, here's my soapbox character, Nigel. So Nigel isn't a bad character. He's just a balanced, hard character to play. And for him, unfortunately, this means he's the second worst character in the game, because while he doesn't have a top player representative anymore, Pugex seems to still have gotten results with him alongside his Patrick and others. He doesn't really play the character much anymore, and there are still players of the character, you know. There's some newer people who have been picking up the game, who've been competing frequently, who are getting some results, but nothing substantial, you know, yet with the character. But that might change. But he just is floaty, which in a game like this, people are going to be comboing you. Even if you're not the easiest to combo, you're still only as hard to hit as Aang, which still is hard, but it's not Ren and Stimpy hard because of how floaty those two are, you know? So for him, he could be better, but he just isn't. And with the recent changes to him, with his up special in 1.7, or his neutral special, he has one less useful tool that he used to have as like a crazy fast slime burst option, you know, because the rework to his neutral special EX was a little weird. But yeah, I mean, he functions, he's not too buggy. He has working good combos, but they're just very hard to execute, and that's just what has him down here at the bottom of this tier list. Number 3 in C tier, and the last one, we have Ember. Ember, a character who, honestly, we were seeing a rise in their results, and is still seeing decent results in 1.7, has unfortunately been the target of a couple changes in 1.7 as well, balance-wise. And one of those isn't intentional, I don't think, but her strong ends up pushing people really far back in a very odd way in shield. And it's just very weird. And there's also other things with like her tipper on it, I think, not working. And it's just a little weird for her to get a nerf with her strong up air being reduced in size. I was talking about this in my other video, and I was saying why is it that hers gets nerfed when she's like a mid-tier at best, and Aang, who's the best in the game, gets to keep his the same size it is, and his kills, whereas hers really doesn't, unless you're already in the blast zone, right? So for her to get that type of nerf was pretty substantial to her playstyle and kit, and also for her snare not to work. Like, her best move is now not her best move. It's like probably still a good move, but it's not her best, you know what I mean? And it definitely got a lot worse, so that's where she's at here in the bottom of C tier. So we're going to be moving on now to the mid tiers of this game. or just the B tiers in general, depending on where you want to start your mid tier. But first one, Zim. Probably saw it coming, but you probably didn't expect this character to also be this high up. Bottom 4 still pretty low, honestly, all things considered. But I think that this character is still cooking. Chuck and a lot of others opposite type who have been experimenting with this character, who've been playing since launch, are starting to see a lot more results. This character does not feel like, when you play them, these character specialists, you don't feel like this is a bottom 4 character. You know what I mean? He feels substantially different from the likes of Ember, from the likes of Nigel and Plankton. But it's one of those things where I think people are figuring out this character, but he still has his bugs. His recovery still sucks. So it's hard to say what his meta has in the future of it. I mean, he still has stuff into his up strong, you know, like he still has his zoning, he still has his traps, like he's still a great character. And I think that as time goes on, he's probably only going to get better, especially as bugs start to get cupped away from him, which I'm hoping will be soon in 1.8 or beyond. But with 1.7, there was another type of Zim bug that ended up happening that I didn't know about until the video release, so hopefully that gets fixed soon. Next up, we have none other than Raphael, which might come across as a surprise to some of you, but unfortunately we've seen just a lack of results in this meta with Raphael, and he does have a lot of stuff that would make him a good fit for it, most notably his air dash. He has a lot of stuff out of his slime dash and air dash confirms that we've been seeing some of the player base start to use, but we have not seen them get any results this PR season, or pretty much since pre 1.4. And so that's like months now, you know, that we haven't seen this character. And so it's a pretty drastic drop off for him. And we're just not really seeing the top level representation in full. We're seeing people sometimes play him, but we're just not seeing what this character can do in practice. And as much as you see stuff on paper, you see stuff in the training room, that doesn't make a character good. You know what I mean? That's not something you can apply. Now, if what they do in the training room is they kill you instantly at 0 with one move, like Aang did, that's a little different, because you can definitely see that come into play in practice, you know, in actual matches. But we're not seeing anything like that from this character. So unfortunately, he is bottom 5 in the game. Next up, a character having better results, I would say, and has definitely solidified themselves on the upward swing, which is funny to say, considering where they're going to be placed, is Jenny. Jenny is doing a really good job with their top level reps, with Scooter Dupes, with Bradist. I think they're #1 rep, with Matador, with others who are just holding the line. TNT blows up in Europe. Like, tons of players who are getting decent results, winning tournaments, placing in the top 8s consistently, doing well, beating top players, you know. And she might be down here, but with changes to her laser being easier to hit people with the angle change, and her... what else? I'm like drawing a blank here. My brain's fried trying to think. But she has like a lot of things going for her now. People are starting to figure out her kill confirms, you know. Like, she's starting to kill a lot earlier. She's not killing off the straight hits. Her backer got changed so she can actually kill, you know. So she has a lot of things that, with like her straight hits still being like really good, she also actually has combos into things to kill earlier, which is very good to see. Next up is a character that I think is crazy to be this low, considering where he was at earlier, especially in the patches that have been not too far off, is Garfield. Garfield went from banned to here, went from the top down to the bottom, and that's like not the way you want to go. So what happened? What happened to Garfield? Garfield obviously was banned. He was bannable. He had a banned move with Sugar Rush, and he kind of just got over-nerfed after the fact. And he ended up getting nerfed, and so his recovery, his up special distance got nerfed. His damage, I think, got nerfed. A ton of other things. There was like patch notes upon patch notes. Like 1.5 to 7, there was like changes, you know? And he just got nerfed like a ton. So we're going to have to see him in this player base. We haven't seen too much results from them in quite some time, so it's also hard to rank him in this new meta, you know? So it's tough to see. But I mean, for those that maybe really dislike playing against this character, you're welcome. He's down here now. But for those who want to play him, or for those who want to see him back, just keep playing him, man. Like, he's still functional. He's still good in the sense that, like, he has things, you know, his moves still work. But, like, he's definitely fallen off considerably since the early times. Next up, we have another character. April. She's April. She has seen better days being all the way down here, but she's a character that still has a lot going for her, and I think you'll start to see that at this point in the tier list. Like, seeing Garfield this low, I'm sure for a lot of people it's kind of a wake up, like, what the heck, the meta's kind of different. And this game has seen a bit of changes, you know? Like, she seems pretty good early on, and then it's just dropped off considerably over time. She still has the up air juggle, she still has the crazy nair, she still has the up B follow into snare or sup air, she still has snare, you know? Like, she still has all of these crazy options that still work, but she's just getting outclassed, and you'll start to see what I mean as we get to the A and S tier especially, like who's above here. But this next one, moving on, is another one where you're gonna probably have your jaw fall off of your face, and that's Reptar. Reptar went from probably the best, most widely used character in the game to a character that likely is a mid-tier now. This character just got gutted in 1.7, and his damage on every single move he has was nerfed considerably, like a multiple %. And not only that, but his down special, which had armor, which could shoot a ton of fire, had a ton of damage, was cancelable, and shield was completely gutted. You no longer have armor on it. You can't deal as much damage with it. You can't cancel it with shield. You have to use slime now. His up special in the previous patch, I think 1.6 or 5, he got a recovery nerf, so now you can't do the faster up special variant. And that really hurts him. We started to see the pain and the bleeding and results from top players and general players alike, with Frosty and others having a bit more difficult time defeating people they used to just kind of like have a really decent handle on. And we've seen just like generally Reptar's results kind of fall off a little bit. And when you had a character that had like 14 of them in slime boxes in like the top like 32 or something like that, top 64, like that's crazy to see that type of drop off. So I think that this patch was long overdue for him, if I'm being quite honest, as much as it's kind of almost like overkill. He definitely was very much like overplayed in the meta as well, in the highest end of results, as well as was just very, very good. And he wasn't the best character, but he was one of those problem characters, in quotes I'll use, where it's just like they aren't healthy for the game necessarily. They're crazy overtuned for what they do, and there definitely are others that need that same treatment, but we haven't gotten those nerfs just yet for a couple of them. But moving on, we have one more epic character that I think you're going to be surprised I have up here, based on if you follow me on social media, which you should. Follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, everything, you know. Mr. Krabs. I was enlightened. I was very much enlightened Let's see, Mr. Krabs. Do something, because quite honestly, I for the longest time, pretty much until like 2 days ago, was saying that he is a low tier. He's bottom 1 even, and I said he was the worst by far. There's a gap, and it was just because prior to the recent patch, it took so long to get to his first level. And Krabs, he has this level system with coins, and pretty much you have to collect the coins. And as you collect coins, you gain levels. And when you get to enough levels, like your second and third levels, you deal considerable higher damage. Your airspeed gets changed. Your movement gets buffed. Your damage gets increased. You have new moves, like your side special gets changed to have these multiple levels. And that's the big one. So there was top player Bread, who's probably the best Krabs active currently. They had displayed both just playing games, but also just in bracket recently with the Tussly Invitational that happened yesterday. Krabs using side special loops, as I've coined it. Side special loops pretty much are, you use the first hit of side special into the second to pop somebody up. It has a sec knockback, so no matter the percent, they'll always go in the same spot. Then you jump, you do side special again, they fall. You do you fall with them, side special again, or you do something else to like follow up on it, or you can do all 3 levels of side special when they're in the air, and then you slime cancel it so that they fall down with you, so you take all that damage. You pop them up again, and by the time they're at the ledge, they're just gonna lose their stock because they're at such a high percent of damage that they might just die if they're a light enough character. And we saw that this weekend. We saw Locust as Beavers get killed at like 35 at the ledge, which is just insanity, like, to be quite honest. And this character, from what I've been told by Brad, this combo works way more on characters that are heavier, that are bigger, just because of like how they function. And I imagine seeing this work on Beavers, depending on what the counterplay is, like SDI wise and DI wise, like if there is any at all, we could totally see somebody like Mr. Krabs doing a lot better if the player base of him just keeps lapping up this combo, if it still exists. And we'll see, maybe he'll get buffed and he'll be even better without this combo, or maybe this combo will get removed, but generally it'll be easier to get to the newer levels, you know. But it's hard to say what the devs will do with this character, because I could totally see this becoming not just a mid-tier gimmick, but like a top-tier threat if the player base gets good enough with just this alone, which is crazy to say. His recovery looks decent because it's a tether, but realistically it's not. After you hit him off stage once, he doesn't have his jump. It's really hard for him, even with the tether, to grab the ledge. And we saw that again just yesterday with the Tussly Invitational. So it's just one of those things that, like, we're starting to see people edgeguard Krabs, edgeguard tether recoveries. He doesn't have the airspeed at the lower levels, so if you really catch him early on, that's what kind of makes him this gimmick. So just make sure you're edgeguarding Krabs, and you'll have a fine time versus him. Next up, it's the fry cook, SpongeBob. Still has a lot going for him. He's at the top of B tier for a reason. He's one of those characters that just does what he does. Nice up air, fast nair for an out of shield option. He has a strong back air. He has good forward air as a spike, loops, you know, like he's SpongeBob. He does what he does, but just recovery and just overall his up special to sup air getting a little nerfed kind of brought his X factor down, his comeback factor down a bit. You have to do a lot more to get back into games instead of just up throw, up B, sup air, you know, killing wherever you are. And that definitely has hurt his results considerably. Takes a lot more effort to kind of win, even if you have like crazy combo game, which he does still have. But he also just has matchups that are tough and other things like that. So that's kind of what makes him down here in the B tier. But moving on to A tier. First one in A tier. We have Lucy. So Lucy is a character that we started to see a lot more results from, like players like Megas, who they've been really pushing this character along with their Gerald, who they've been getting great results with. This character definitely has the moves. It's hard to say though, like how good this character is. I know she was considered really, really good early on, with like Coinbox, with like Fumbling and others, Lilybun. And we're just seeing this character kind of have a drop off in the result, but still with Megas kind of being the person reviving this character. The better they've gotten with them, the better we've seen the up airs. We've still seen like the coffin confirms and everything like that. So we're just seeing this character kind of come back into the fray for the meta, whereas before, like, the results just straight up weren't there. Next up, another character that just recently got nerfed, Patrick. Patrick got nerfed a bit overall. He definitely looks a bit more toned down now that his edge cancel sliding is a little bit more toned down, which I think is good. I think that's cool that's in the game, but I do think that it should not have been as aggressive of an option as it was in previous patches, which I think it was a good nerf. But it definitely has done a number on what he can do quickly, and we've seen it from players like PugX, Grayson. Their results have dipped a little bit, and we'll see what they can do. I know Grayson just recently did well at Genesis, so it's like when you're good enough, you can still like do great with a character. And Patrick is still not a bad character. That's why he's up here. He still can do a lot of the same stuff. His snare, his sup air, his moves are still strong. He still has up air. He still has up throw. He still has forward throw. You know, he still has back throw. Like, he still has all these great options. You know, it's not like Hug Driver went away. Like, he's still Patrick. It's just that he's a little toned down. I know Jab was changed, so I don't believe you can like cancel it anymore or something like that. Patrick Mains, feel free to comment down below exactly what was with that, because I know that was a pretty big deal. I just am not aware of what exactly was changed with it, besides whatever you could do with Jab prior. But definitely different. So, next up, Korra. Korra, top players like Solve, and a couple others, Shershi, have been doing great still, and it's just, I mean, it's Korra. Like, she has great frame data with her Nair, she has great edge guarding capabilities, her Dare is really strong versus characters with tether recoveries or characters that have to recover low. She just is a commanding character with a strong neutral, a strong frame data, a strong advantage state, and she's just going to continue to be pretty strong. But she's getting outclassed a little bit with the characters above her, and we're starting to see that pretty considerably as the players of these top tiers and these higher A tier, high tier characters are starting to like get into the swing of things of like what exactly the heck is going on. So yeah, that's where we're at in terms of these high tier characters so far, man. This is the first half of them. But moving on, we have one character that I talked about last time. I made a tier list in like 1.5 or whatnot, but this character is getting a lot better still. That's Plankton. Plankton, Squidward. We already did Plankton cheer, come on. But Squidward doing much better this time overall. Connor J, we have Do the Fig, we have Bean, we have a ton of Squidward reps, and even more than I just mentioned, that are all doing quite well. Connor J in the last couple Frosty Freezy Fridays. There is a couple other events that they were doing. Wumbo, I think, or whatever the heck the Wednesday event is called. Doing quite well every weekly, getting in top 3, top 2. I think even Connor J won. Correct me if I'm mistaken, chat. He did something like that recently. He won a tournament. So Squidward is doing very well. He's still, I mean, it's just players are getting better with him, using Rage to just like Wii Fit Trainer and just 0 to death you very quickly. You know, you have to be very careful fighting this character. On the flip side, I think people are starting to like understand the DI that you have to avoid certain Rage combos and avoid like things like the up strong into the up special. But certain changes as well, like the loss of his multi-bike that we'd see, like the movement tech that he had in previous patches, that was kind of a little blow to him. More of a wrist slap, but like it still was a big thing at top level that no longer can be done, which is unfortunate for that player base. But I mean, the character is still consistent as ever as people figured out exactly how to combo with him, and I think that's only going to get better with time. So only time will tell exactly how he'll do. Another character doing decent, but there's been a fall off of results just generally at the top level. I know Blazing just did Genesis, if I remember correctly. They did not too bad. But Ren and Stimpy, 1.7. We have it a lot at the local level. Arachnite is kind of like the Illinois representative of the character, and they always do quite well with the character. I mean, the character, like, just does well, you know, like very simple back air, could, like, you know, just back air, use the ball to, like, bonk people, you know, the barrel. Like, the only big thing about this character that did get changed that is kind of another thing that kind of drops them into this tier list is their sub air got changed, so it kind of doesn't connect properly. And at first people were thinking, oh, I just dropped my combo, but no, it's just there were changes to strong up air, and it definitely makes it harder to get the full hit with, like, people SDIing and whatnot, or just people trying to get out, you know, or if you don't have it right on the nose, you're gonna not get the drag down, or you're gonna get the drag down, but they're gonna fall to the opposite side that you thought, or whatever. So it's just one of those things that was a big part of the kit that is hard to really utilize in the same way in 1.6 and prior. So it's definitely something to take an eye on and keep there, you know, just observe and see how that affects this character and the player base going forward. But generally, he's pretty solid still, and very much better than those behind him. So we'll see where he stands in the meta in a little bit. Next up, Donatello. Donatello, I want to rate him higher because this character just, he's up there for me, man. He just is exhausting. He's cool, so cool, but just playing against him, it's like, when the heck is it my turn, man? And there is times when it's your turn, but I'm just bad at the game, so it's fine. It's fine. But anyways, character still does all the same things. Still has his up air, still has his strong up air, still has his up B to sup air, still has his up B to snare, still has his nair to snare, still has his back air, still has everything, you know. Still does the same stuff. It's just that, realistically, if we're not being cheery for a minute, this character gets outclassed by everybody above him, and he gets comboed by everybody above him, and he gets comboed, honestly, by people below him too. And that's, you're just gonna have to hold that, and that's just kind of where he's at in terms of his combo game. He's still very viable, still very good, still very strong. You know, Sparks, very good with this character. We have Hyper Crash, very good with this character. Still getting plenty of results when they enter events, like, still great, you know. So it's just one of those things where this character and the game itself, you're gonna just see like players and people that use this character and people who fight against the character, they're still gonna kind of get the same results whenever you see this character on screen. Now, we don't see them as much, but when we do, it's always like, god damn it, like, this character's gonna go crazy. You're gonna see this character always be doing wonders at the events that they're in, right? So yeah, that's where Donatello is at in the current meta. He's just outclassed by those above him, and you're gonna see why in just a bit. So, the final character in high tier, Azula. Azula was a character that is still very strong. Great beginner character if you're just getting into Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Make sure to try this character out. She's probably the best beginner character you can try to learn the game, in terms of both a literal, like, viability sense and in terms of just ease of use and, like, understanding. So if you want to try this game out, I would suggest you start off with her, because she'll probably make the most sense at the start of your journey. But getting beyond the beginners, the top players of this character are still doing wonders. Alpha and others, just whenever they play, you know, Anakin Skywalker, like, they just beat the shit out of whoever they play, you know. And same thing is true with, like, Donatello as Azula. Is just that whenever you see her versus a character above her, she just kind of gets a little outclassed. Like, you'll see it. You'll exactly see what I'm talking about in terms of this outclass when we get to S tier. And she has weaknesses. Like, you can ledge guard her, you can edge hog her, you can knock her to the blast zone and she just dies because she's like a normal weight, you know, like she's a midweight. So it's like, you'll kind of see what I mean when we get to these top tiers, you know, and that's exactly what we're about to do. So let's talk about these so-called top tiers. So here's where we're at in terms of character viability. Grandma Gertie. she is a character that is still really strong. We just had Stango win Genesis, so the character definitely can still do it. I think that she, is, as a character, still has the explosiveness, the X Factor, the breach, you know? She still has a ton of strong moves. She still has the crazy frame data. She still has a ton of, like, good options. Her back air is crazy. Her knee is crazy. She has down throw knee. She has side special into slime cancel grab on block, and she just gets to grab you for free. She has jab into down strong as a slime cancel, like, confirmed. She has air dash into knee. She has knee into knee. She has all of these options that are just completely utter BS. And it's just insanity. Absolute insanity from this character. She just has good frame data. She has good disjoints. She has strong up airs. She has strong regular light up airs. She can kill you with any move she has. She has just a crazy item X Factor where it's like you can just get spiked by a piano that just comes out of the blue and covers half the screen, you know? Like, she has all these crazy moves, and then down strong being frame 6 and as strong as it is in an anti-air, and hurt box shifting and how long it lasts. Like, she just has everything, you know? And even she, I think, at the top level, in terms of just the top tiers, not the player bases, I think gets a little outclassed by those above her. And that's crazy to say, but I actually went out of order for who I'm going to transition to next. So I'm going to get away from her real quick and put the character I think is actually behind her, who's worse than her in S tier. And that's the Beavers. The Beaver Fever. This character is super good. There was changes to Daggett and Norb, so it does seem like player bases, like Locust, top player reps, have started to use more so Daggett, it seems like. But we just saw yesterday, like in the Tusley Invitational, Locust winning the Tusley Invitational over players like Stango and Brad and others who were just like doing their damnedest vert, you know. And the character is just insane. The character has fast frame data. The character can just kill you off of anything. We throw you into the blast zone and edge guard the crap out of you, using assists to get back to pretty much cover themselves with the mashed potatoes. Like, it's really useful and smart, and like you really can't do much about it. And like, this character just has a lot of things going for them, and with this patch making them as good as they are, it's only a matter of time until we see this character get even better as time goes on. But for now, I think that Granny definitely outclasses them in a couple of ways, mainly like range and like just raw kill power, like very quick percents. Sup Air is still a great move, but because it has that back hit that sends down, it sometimes isn't as great as it could be, just due to that inconsistency. Whereas like other characters, if they had a move that like does that, like Aang or like Granny or Rocko, like you just kind of like die if you get hit by it when you're like up near the blast zone. Whereas sometimes if they space it wrong, or if they like somehow DI, right, or the character model is like in a weird spot, they just get sent down instead of up because of that back hitbox. But I mean, the character's still instantly good. I think that we're all gonna see this character like do better as time goes on, especially with the love they've gotten recently. But yeah, this is where I think this character is at currently in the meta. Next up on this list, we have Gerald. Gerald, oh boy, he is so really good. He is just the bee's knees. He's everything, man. He's so good. Mega's making sure that this character is represented well after Plup's departure. But this character, like we saw it with Plup, and we're seeing the resurgent with it with Megas. And Megas is just doing like insane. They're winning tournaments, they're taking second in a lot of tournaments, they're taking third in a lot of tournaments. They're just getting only good results whenever they enter tournaments, you know. And it's just one of those things that, like, you see the up airs, you see the fast brawling options, you see the use of the alarm clocks that just can kill you, and you get 5 per stock when it really should be 5 per game. Like, it's just, you see the bowling, you see the basketballs, you have the infinites, you have the light up airs, you have the light up airs into sup air, into slime canceled up B, into sup air. Like, you have all this crap that just is insane. You have the movement speed with a skateboard. You have all this extra tech. Like, character just doesn't stop, and he's only going to get better with time in terms of the perception of this character and what he can do. And he's definitely a cut above the rest. And he's very much like Grandma Gertie in that his frame data and his normals are just very strong and quick, and like they do everything for you, you know. Like he doesn't, and his light upper does a lot. Like it'll even do my taxes. Like I actually got a tax return thanks to Gerald light upper, so it was actually like a pretty good move. So, but moving on. Rocko, very good character. Been going down a little bit in terms of his viability, but there are certain things that the patches have changed that have actually been good for him. Most notably his recovery bug, where he actually can go into the ceiling of the stage blast zones by using like slime, pretty much to make himself like go like super high up. And we don't see top Rocko mains use it too much, like FPC and others, but it is super duper good. And I think that we should be seeing it more often, because if you use it, you just can't be contested for recovery. But we are seeing certain things kind of take hold, like the Rocko Spunky bug, where like when Spunky falls off the stage, you like can't, the next time you spawn, you can't turn around or anything or be controlled. And so that's a little awkward for him. Other things with like his sup air or his strong up strong, like they're still really good. You know, they still kill really early. They still like just are really good at covering space, you know. He still is oppressive at the ledge. He's still oppressive when you try to like get in. He's still hard to like contend when you're trying to get to ledge and he just hits you with the bowling ball. Like he still has all of that. He's still Rocko, you know. So unless something big changes to him, he's got a lot of wrist slaps, but nothing that's actually hurt him in the grand scheme of things in terms of his viability. Next up, we have El Tigre. El Tigre is a character that definitely has a lot of good things going for them. They definitely got a bit of a nerf recently with the way that they move and the way that they play. Their up special, it made it a lot harder for them to just snap to ledge, and that's kind of had a big effect on how they play, because before we'd see these characters and these players go out as hard as they can out onto the ledges and near the blast zones, and they would just get back because they could easily know that they'd snap ledge even with the tip of their up special. But now it's like, oh, they go out and they actually have to kind of be scared. Do I have slime? Do I have the X to like kind of overcompensate and make sure I get back, you know? And we're seeing it from players like Vert. They're trying their best to like kind of find that middle ground in between, you know? And we're seeing it like from players like SkyJ as well and others. And I think that we're just seeing players adapt, and we're still seeing them still get good results. They still have all the same combos, you know, so it's like I don't think it was that detrimental. Sego complains a lot about it especially, but I think that this is still something that is going to not affect the character too much long term. Maybe it'll affect them a little bit in terms of disadvantage state, which they already didn't have the greatest of, but like it's El Tigre. Like I think he'll be fine, guys. But I actually went out of order again, so I'm gonna have to put a character behind El Tigre. So El Tigre is top 3 for those keeping track. Like, at which he's still really good. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. He's still really good. Jimmy is behind him. Top 4 in the game. And so, Jimmy, very good character, has literally only risen. The gym up as you will. The Jimmy stocks, the jocks, you know. Like, dude just does things. You can play him easy brain. You can play him big brain. You can play him however you want. Senpak, Leviathan, Beanery, tons of Jimmys, all doing quite well when he's pulled out, you know. He has easy things like his up throw sup air. He has hard things like back throw into laser from Goddard or Goddard taunt explosion. Like he has all of these things that are just varying, and it doesn't matter like what percent, it doesn't matter what like how skilled you are. Like you can figure out something with this character to make him work, and whatever your playstyle is will probably work. He has good buttons, he has good aerials, he has good boxing tools, he has really good zoning, he has really good get off me tools, he has really good disadvantage state tools, he has all these options. His recovery is good, he can drift a lot in it, he has good zoning, like he has good space control, he has good traps, Goddard is really good, Missile is really good, Toast is really good. Like he has so many options that are just insane. His up air is good. His strong up air is good. Snare is good. Like there isn't a bad move on him. He has 2 really big disjointed forward air and back aerials. You know, like that light down air is insane. It's like a NASB2 move. Like it's crazy. Like what this character can do, and you can make him as easy or as difficult as you'd like him to be. And that's the best part about him, I think. His up tilt's really good at juggling. Like he has all these things that are just really good with him, and I think we'll see him a lot in the future as the player base gets better and better with him, and I have a feeling that he'll move up even higher on this tier list even if the game gets no changes. But for now, this is where I'm putting him because he's gotten decent results with Senpak constantly dominating recently, and like we just haven't seen the craziest of results for sure. But top 2 in the game. Are we surprised? Are we surprised, chat? No. So Danny still has the same combo game, still has the same game plan, where he has this kind of game plan of, alright, I'm going to use wave bounce and standing in place projectiles to kind of play you because my moves are just better than your moves. And the way his projectiles work, they just kind of like transcend. Not like they don't have transcendence, but they just beat other projectiles a lot of the times, you know. And they're hard to reflect. You can't grab them like you could in NASB1, so there's really not much you can do about them. It's really hard to like strong attack them. It leaves you very vulnerable. This character just combos you up the side. He has things with snare. He has things with like strong down air into like snare or side B or whatever. His aerials are really big. They're really hard to punish. Nair is pretty much impossible to punish on shield. He did lose the up special shine thing, which was pretty cool, but still really broken. And his recovery is able to work again, but like the character is just disgusting. Players like Zing Zing Zoom and others have been really great at just capitalizing and showing what this character can do. But he hasn't been getting the most crazy results yet, and that actually goes to our top 1 character, which is Aang. Doesn't matter who you are, this humble mid-tier is probably in your bracket. It doesn't matter which side of the bracket, doesn't matter if you're the top seed, doesn't matter if you're the bottom seed. If you're in a bracket with Aang, you're probably not the top seed. Players like Hockey, we have players like Kudo, we have players like Pixie, we have a ton of Aang. Aang is everywhere. Sup air is inevitable. Uppy sup air, 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 uppy sup air. That's all you have to do. Uppy sup air. Yeah, like it's that easy. You can do one thing. This one trick will make competitors hate you. TOs hate it. Like, character has triple jump. Character has crazy movement in the air. The character has needle. The character has side or down special that just lets you move anywhere you want really quickly. The character has, like, DI confirms out pretty much any DI. Like, he has up air and the sup air. He has sup air. Like, I've said sup air so many times in this sentence, you know? Like, he's just very good. He got buffed this patch for some reason. His up air into sup air is now a true combo for some reason. And he's not going to stop being good, you know? So he's just one of those characters that, unfortunately, it is what it is. He's at the top of this game, and he's not going to stop anytime soon. I really hope he gets gutted. I hate this character. But no, seriously, like, he's just very good. And he's just been very good pretty much since the game launched. And he's not dominating by any means, but I seriously do think that if enough players just decided, hey, we could just do this, you know, it wouldn't take very long for us to see, like, Aang in every spot. Like, we recently in Charge and Chuck's bracket a week ago, we literally saw 4 out of the 8 spots in the top 8 were all Aang, one after another. It was just 4 Aangs in half the bracket. So it's just like the character is really good, and we're seeing this like takeover, if you will. We haven't seen a character this dominating in top 8s, I don't think, ever. I think, like, we've seen, like, the double Lucy's, you know, we've seen, like, other characters, Tigres, you know, we've seen that, or it's, like, 2, but 4, or, like, just seeing Hockey week after week win every single event, not just because they're good, but because, like, the character just, the way they're winning, like, he's consistent with what he does, but, like, what he does is uppy the sup air, and it's, like, how hard can it be? No, but seriously, like, the character is good, the character has sauce, but, like, things like sup air definitely need to be nerfed, especially if you're going to do it to Ember, who is now bottom 3. You're going to have to do it to Aang, who's top 1. Okay, please. Please? Please? But no. That's where I'm going to call it. This is my tier list. Make sure to yell at me in the comments about how wrong it is, about how I should never do this again. Make sure to also tell me how good it is and how smart I am. And just make sure to like this video, subscribe, and seriously, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, probably before Combo Breaker is the goal, which is in May. So just make sure that you're sharing this video, make sure that you're giving it a like, make sure that you're commenting who you think should be where on this tier list and if I did anything wrong. But also just seriously, please subscribe. It helps us so much more than you think, and it really also helps with the goal, which we're getting closer and closer to every day. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.